Good afternoon. This is Wesley Saunders, NFL veteran and community activist here at the BuzzBoxx in WYNWOOD, Florida. It's definitely important to be hands-on in the community, and no better way to do that than a haircut. Ask any man out there across the world, he'll tell you a haircut rejuvenates his whole self-esteem, his whole lifestyle, his whole persona. Perception usually is reality. So here we are at the BuzzBoxx initiative, man. This is very important for these kids getting ready to get freshened up. Talk about the importance of a haircut and what it means to the youth coming up in the communities around the world.
And I'll tell everybody an old saying that my father told me. He said, one person can make a difference, and everybody should try.
Yep.
Now, if everybody's trying, it's no longer one person.
Exactly. Going to my father's old barbershop in Durham, North Carolina, in a very historically prominent black neighborhood, man. It was something very special. The experience on those Saturday mornings, man, just listening to the stories and listening to the old heads, man. Those are moments you can't get back. They're invaluable. I'm a testimony to being able to see, both sides of the track, how the inner city kids were treated as opposed to the kids from the suburbs, and even how I was treated being a star athlete as opposed to the kids who, nobody really expected much of. Grown people actually, give that energy to kids, and kids feed off of that and become exactly who you thought they were going to become anyways. And so it's on us to shape their minds and shape their self-esteems into believing who they think they can be.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
I did a research paper on the social psychology, the effects of how people dress. I drew a parallel between a well-fitted suit and a knight's armor.
Yeah.
See, no matter who you are, if you walk in a room with a tailored suit that fits you well, you're going to command a certain level of respect. People are going to treat you a certain way.
There you go. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention that it's especially true for a certain demographic of people in this country. And so, I tell my young brothers that look like me that, certain times you can't afford to go out looking like whoever and who done it and why, right? You can't afford those luxuries. You gotta address your privilege. Once I address my privilege, of even being a high-profile athlete and having kids listening to me, I didn't make the best decisions in my first few years in the league, and me having been suspended, I didn't paint myself in a favorable light, and I also looked incompetent. And so, I had to understand that my privilege as a black athlete in this country, what I could do on the field, it was a lot bigger than that. So, that once you understand your privilege, then that becomes part of your purpose. And so, you formulate your purpose around that. And so now your privilege is actually helping people and not using it to take advantage of folks.
A lot of what you're talking about, man, it sounds so much like the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
When I see you, I make an assessment, and it's completely wrong.
Yeah.
Right? I have no information. I have no evidence to support the way that I feel, but the way that I feel is going to affect the way that I treat you.
Exactly.
And the way that I treat you is going to affect the way that you feel.
About yourself.
And it's going to affect your behavior, more importantly.
Yeah.
And then once you exhibit a certain behavior, I then come back and say, see, I told you, look.
Yeah. Fashion introduces you before you say a word. So when you walk into the room, man, when you're walking down the street and people looking at you, what is your clothes saying about you? What is your appearance saying about you as a person?
Like the social dynamic of everything you just said is so powerful and so impactful.
Everything surface level, 3D level.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do, man. It's trying to get people to dig deeper. Have those uncomfortable conversations so people can grow, and evolve into what they're supposed to be instead of what everybody's telling them what they're supposed to be.
Street Jesus strikes again, baby. All right, Wes, let me know what you look like, man. What you look, check it out with the phone.
Oh, yeah. And I feel like $1 billion. Y'all see that? Back in the game, baby. Well, today, man, here on the Buzz It Forward BuzzBoxx initiative, man, this is very important for these kids. I had my man Drew hook me up. He hooked the Mohawk up with a little, 1.5, bring me back to life. Something very vital in my life is keeping my Mohawk fresh. So that was very important today. And of course, we leading the way, leading the charge, where we're gonna be spreading these haircuts all across the country for kids who need it in their communities. Small gestures like this have a huge impact on the lives of the kids coming up after us, because some of these kids don't get haircuts all year long. They might get one or two throughout the course of a year. And so, understanding how important that is for adults, right? Especially in the workplace. You wouldn't show up at the workplace, scruffy and scraggly. So you make sure that's taken care of. So the kids need to understand that just as importantly. And of course, looks and appearance isn't everything, but it's a start. You got to feel good about yourself first and become who you're really supposed to be. And no better way to do that than a haircut and fixing yourself up and being presentable to the world. Each one reach one. If you're able and capable to help somebody in need, help them find their purpose, what drives them every single day, and then of course help them look good and feel good, baby, because that's what it comes down to. You feel good, you play good. What's up, guys? This is Wesley Saunders, and this is my fresh perspective.